Okay, it's May 21st. We're here with Sheriff William Honsal for his media availability. Just to start right off with our reporter questions, a reporter wants to know, will you be celebrating Memorial Day weekend outside at any public parks? And how would you advise the public for the holiday weekend celebration?
So this weekend is obviously Memorial Day. A lot of people take this opportunity to go out of town and or have visitors come into the county, and this is a destination for a lot of different people. At this point in time, we are still having people, advocate do not travel into our county. There's several parks that are opening up. People want to come here, find some relief because the temperatures are rising in the valley and coming to the coast, coming to the beach. But we ask those people that are, from another county, please stay in your county. Please respect our county. Right now, we still have a shelter-in-place order, and we don't want visitors right now. We want to make sure our numbers and our levels go down, and we want to respect that. We will be, fully staffing patrol this weekend, 24 hours a day, and we'll be contacting people if they are violating the shelter-in-place order, and we'll be issuing them warnings, and if necessary, issuing them citations. So we want people to to respect our order. If you are in county, please celebrate, come to the beaches, come to our parks. The state parks are opening up. National Park is opening up for vehicular travel. Come there, use the day use area, maintain your physical distancing and those kind of things. But we live in Humboldt County for a reason. And I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be going to the beach. I'll be running, in different areas of the county, exercising and getting out with my family. And that's what this is all about. And it's going to be a great weekend. The weather's going to be nice. There's no rain forecasted. And so, let's take this time to celebrate why we live here in Humboldt County.
What is the Sheriff's Office doing in collaboration with park rangers and staff to prepare for an influx of visitors to local parks for this weekend?
Yeah, so great question. The state and national parks have been in contact with me. We've been talking about, what it's going to, what the messaging is out there. And so we do want to actually, help them, and they help us in this whole situation. We want to encourage the parks for those local users, for Humboldt County residents to utilize those parks. And if people do come in from out of the area, we will be, stopping and talking to them and make sure it's a joint effort. There's still no camping. No camping's allowed in these state parks, so it is just day use area. So we're also encouraging the hotels, make sure that you are only, offering lodging to our local residents or those people coming in for essential services. Now they have to be essential services that they're providing here and not, just because they have an essential worker elsewhere.
Great. And with more national and state parks reopening soon, how will your enforcement of social distancing practices be impacted? Will there be more of a presence to make sure there isn't overcrowding at these areas?
So we do have our off-highway vehicle team. We'll be out and we'll be patrolling the beaches. We'll be patrolling some of those public right-of-ways and those kind of things, making sure that people are physically distancing and kind of abiding by that shelter-in-place order. We are, still in a time where households can congregate together, but anyone outside of the household, we ask that you do not do that at this time. And we understand that everyone has shelter-in-place fatigue, SIP fatigue. We all have it, right? And so we're all ready to go on to that next phase. We are close. I just want you to know that Dr. Frankovich is the same way. She's looking at the county for guidance right now, the state for guidance. The state hasn't determined, lifting their shelter-in-place order, and then what constitutes a group. What are we going to go to next? Is it going to be a group of 10? How are we going to message this? So she's looking to the state to make sure that that guidance is there, and so through the California Department of Public Health, those questions are being asked. They're getting to the governor, so we're hoping that next week the governor does clarify some of that, because we have virtually every county in the North State now as of today. I think Marin North is on to extended phase 2, and maybe that's Sonoma North. So we have essentially the whole North State that's in that expanded phase 2, where retail is coming online, eventually dine-ins coming online, and so there's going to be virtually some things that need to be made as far as the state level. Some changes need to be made.
As our local cases continue to increase, has the Joint Information Center or the Sheriff's Office seen an increase in calls from the community, more complaints or tips about people not adhering to social distancing or the health order?
Yes, we are going to get the 6,000th call today. So we've been very, very busy. I think last Monday was probably our busiest day. We received hundreds of phone calls, And so we're still receiving the phone calls at 441-5000. If anyone has questions about the shelter-in-place order, if they have concerns, they want to report, do a tip, have questions about businesses, call that number and we will refer you or answer your question. So we are always there. We're working, Monday through Saturday, taking Sundays off. Saturday hours are going to be 10 to 5. We're actually working Monday 10 to 5 as well. And so people do have the opportunity to call, ask questions, and inquire, what's happening. I do want to add one thing that, we are certifying businesses. There's been over 700 businesses that have submitted applications, and we have close to, I think it's near 400 businesses that are actually approved and being certified or have been certified. So they have that certificates out there that says that they are compliant with our public health officer's order. They have a stamp from OSHA, California Department of Public Health, and the County of Humboldt that they can post on their doors. And so we're encouraging people, as you go out shopping in retail, you look for those notices that say that these businesses are compliant. We will be publishing that list, I believe, tomorrow by Friday. Of all the compliant retail businesses throughout the county. So you can, if you're concerned about it, you can go on our website, humboldtgov.org, look at the compliant businesses and shop at those compliant businesses because you know that they've gone through that series of checklists. Their employees are properly trained. We know that there's going to be disinfectant protocols, physical distancing, and everything that's in place for their business to be open.
And on Tuesday, it was announced that the updated order now allows for funeral gatherings of no more than 10 people to resume. Does this also apply for weddings?
Funerals, 10 or fewer, can occur. This does not apply to weddings. We know that within a very short time, we believe that the governor will be kind of changing that, and then we will be hopefully changing that right after that. And so, but at this time, I think we recognize that as far as funerals go, people need to, pay respects and have maybe a small ceremony. So we're allowing that to happen.
The term of the current county order for the eviction moratorium is close to its end. Will Humboldt be extending the eviction moratorium past May 31st, and why or why not?
The eviction moratorium it's up to the Board of Supervisors. There's also some cities that also have created that moratorium and based on conditions that the COVID situation has created. So people that can't pay their rent, and there's some restrictions in there. So our civil team that are responsible for serving those notices from the court about vacating and those kind of things and assisting with the eviction process, we are reviewing those. People can actually start submitting that paperwork to the courts now. Courts are processing those, and if the courts deem that someone does need to be evicted, that's outside of the COVID compliance issues and what our local ordinance says, then we will serve the proper notice. There's also due process through that situation, so people have the opportunity to contest it through the court system, and so we will be going through that process. And there were, I think, possibly a dozen or so evictions that were set to occur right before COVID hit, and none of those were served. And so those will be essentially the first in line that do occur. So.
And then finally, with harvest on the horizon, what is the relationship between marijuana laborers and the potential for an autumn surge or earlier? And then the follow-up to that is, what collaboration is being done between HCSO and the cannabis industry to mitigate that threat?
So we've already been talking to the cannabis industry about potential. The big threat here is having travelers come, trimmigrants come in from all parts of the world. That's been really what's been happening over the last 20 plus years. And we want to discourage that as much as possible, especially now with, the legal market has opportunity to go to different staffing, agencies. Dark Staffing Solutions is one of them. And so they can actually go to the places and have a labor force dedicated to marijuana brought to their site and taken care of. So we're encouraging that kind of activity to take place. There are people that have signed up that are willing to work. They're locals looking for local work. So please utilize the local workforce. That's the way we're going to get back our economy on our feet anyway. The people that are coming in from out of town, they're just going to take the money and run. Okay, so employ local people, and then also it ensures that, again, we're not going to bring something in from out of the area. Our deputies have been on patrol. We have seen an influx in Garberville as one area, and I know we've been getting some reports as far as Willow Creek is concerned that there are some trimmigrants, some people in town for trimming purposes, and so we are out there talking to these people. They're on the side of the road. We are logging their names. If they're here from out of the county, we are giving them those notices and potentially issuing them citations for coming here in violation of the shelter-in-place order. So we want them to know that, you know, out-of-towners right now are not welcome. There will be a time when that will occur in the future, but this is not that time, and that we will cite those people for coming in because, again, we see the clusters that have been occurring throughout the county right now are travel related. And so we'd be in a different place if those people didn't travel and didn't expose themselves and bring it back here to Humboldt County.
Anything else you'd like to include today?
Just want people to just continue to be patient with us. We know that eventually some dine-in services will be opened up, and then the malls, destination retail, that's next on the list, and then we believe there's going to be movement into that phase 3 real soon from the governor's office, and that things are opening up because we understand Oregon is virtually open, Nevada is open. And so people want to get their business open, and I agree. I mean, it's time for certain businesses, but understand it is going to be a slow process. We have 6,500 businesses here in the county that have business licenses, and again, only 700 of those have applied so far. And so it is happening at a slow pace. People are slowly coming online, and we believe that's going to happen with restaurants too. There's about 100 or so restaurants throughout the county that have applied. Right now, we'll be processing those over the weekend and hopefully getting at least notices that it's approved. We can't certify you until it is approved through the county. But when that does hit, you'll get your compliance certificate and you can open your doors. And we believe that's going to happen, soon. We keep saying soon, but we believe it will happen. And we will be coming online and getting on to that next step. But I appreciate everyone's patience with the process and encourage people to continue to wear your facial covering when you go out in public, and so we're going to get through this.